From the beginning of the season to now, not much has changed in the perception of the Ohio State Buckeyes. They expected to be here. They just took a little bit of a roller coaster to get to this point. This is a team that expected to win a national championship coming into this season, and things weren't looking so good about halfway through. And at the end of the season, you had some serious concerns about if this team was capable of making a run. You knew they had the talent to do it, but losing to Michigan definitely didn't do anything to boost their confidence. Since then, they've been on an absolute tear. And today, we're going to take a look at how they win a national championship over Notre Dame. Currently, 8.5-point favorites. That speaks to the talent level and also the amount of success they've had in their 3 games. They beat Tennessee 42-17. They got revenge against Oregon 41-21. That score is closer than the game actually was. 28-14 against Texas. This is a team on a mission, and they have been playing extremely well. In their way is a very good Notre Dame team, a team that has made things very difficult for the teams that they've faced. They beat Georgia in surprising fashion, kind of kept the Bulldogs in check. They basically took it to Indiana, the final score being closer than it actually was. This is a team that knows its identity. They've dealt with adversity, and Ohio State has to find a way to put them away early if possible. Now, this is an Ohio State team that has done a great job of that. They have done a great job of setting the tone early and finding ways to send the other team they're facing packing because they're capable of making explosive plays and getting their playmakers involved. I think that Chip Kelly has done a really good job of play calling. Overall, I think that there have been moments where people have definitely questioned him. I'm not really sure what that's all about, but Chip Kelly is doing a great job of keeping this team where they need to be. And also Jim Knowles. Jim Knowles has done a good job too. The coordinators have given Ryan Day exactly what he hoped for when he hired them, and they are looking to end this with a national championship. The keys to the game for Ohio State are pretty simple and pretty obvious. The first one is going to be Jeremiah Smith being more involved in the offense. I think one of the biggest things that people knocked Chip Kelly for last game was, how do you not have Jeremiah Smith in game plan? Well, Chip Kelly's not going to force something. I think one thing that he's learned over the years is if it's not there, it's not there. And Texas did a good job of taking away Jeremiah Smith. Now, yes, there were plays when he was open, but Chip Kelly can't do everything. He's going to put his team in the best position to be successful. Sometimes that involves your true freshman who's an absolute stud, and sometimes that means that he's going to have one catch for 3 yards. I don't think we need to overreact because Jeremiah Smith isn't doing, he's not entertaining us enough. That's just not something that we need to get all worked up about. We went from Chip Kelly's a genius to Chip Kelly doesn't know what he's doing. And this is a team that still won the football game. Yeah, it wasn't their best game offensively, but I think Chip Kelly knows what he's doing, and I think that he deserves the benefit of the doubt when it comes to calling plays. So that being said, you'd like to see Jeremiah Smith get back in the game plan. And I mean, if you don't think that Chip Kelly knows that Jeremiah Smith should be involved, I think you're underestimating his intelligence and his ability to call a good game plan and get his players involved. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith needs to be involved. Jeremiah Smith is the best wide receiver in college football right now. I think that there isn't much debate surrounding that. There are obviously some players you can put up there, but Jeremiah Smith is having an absolutely phenomenal season as a true freshman. The other thing that's pretty obvious, getting to Riley Leonard. I think one of the biggest things for both teams is the offensive lines have gone through some injuries. That has led to some concerns in terms of consistency and gameplay. Getting to Riley Leonard is a quick way to slow down this offense. And Penn State kind of gave Ohio State a little bit of a glimpse of what that looks like. They had 8 tackles for loss, 5 sacks against Notre Dame. Against Texas, Ohio State had 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. So they have the defensive line that's capable of doing that, and we'll talk more about those players here in a little bit. But if there's a group that knows how to get to the quarterback, it's Ohio State. If they know how to be disruptive, Ohio State knows how to do that. The defensive line is really good. The linebackers have talent. They've been really good at being disruptive, and that's, again, Jim Knowles deserves a lot of credit for this just as much as Chip Kelly. I think explosive plays are going to be a big key as well. This is a team that has had explosive plays. Jeremiah Smith did it in the quarterfinals. Travion Henderson against Texas, his catch, that's something that's going to put away Notre Dame quickly. If you get explosive plays, Notre Dame has, I would say that they have a couple players that can be explosive, but they do not have the offense to keep up with this Ohio State offense. If this Ohio State offense plays to the level it's capable of, plays to its ceiling, this game's going to be over quick. Explosive plays are a quick way to get Notre Dame out of the game. We saw that against Oregon, and the Ducks had no answer. That was a perfect game plan. And again, Chip Kelly deserves a lot of credit for that. So this is a team that knows how to get explosive plays. They know how to get their players the football. Chip Kelly is really good at getting his star players involved, and it's going to be fun to see how he does that again. Now, who do you need to stop for Notre Dame? There's plenty of talent to worry about on both sides of the ball. Jaden Grayhouse's emergence against Penn State is something that needs to be taken into account. I think you have to be aware that he is a talented player. He's the leading receiver, and even though it's only 464 yards, he is someone that can, we've seen, take the ball to the house. So how do you slow him down? Because you have to worry about him, Jordan Faison. You have to worry about Mitchell Evans, maybe Bo Collins. It's not like Notre Dame's lacking talent. They just maybe don't have the firepower that Ohio State does. That being said, they have players that can get open. Mike Denbrock's a really good play caller, so giving him this much time to prepare for Ohio State, he's going to find ways to exploit this Ohio State defense. And we talked about how Penn State kind of gave Ohio State the game plan for Notre Dame. Texas also gave Mike Denbrock and this Notre Dame team some ideas. When you look at the 2 touchdowns that Jaden Blue had, Notre Dame's going to find a way to get Jeremiah Love lined up against a linebacker one-on-one. They're going to find ways to get Jaden Grayhouse in position to make plays. They will find ways. Mike Denbrock is so good at what he does. He deserves a lot of love for what he's done with his offense, and it'll be fun to see how Ohio State responds to that. Jeremiah Love is probably their biggest threat. Finding ways to slow him down, keeping him bottled up. Ohio State's done a really good job of that against other teams. This is going to be a different type of challenge. Riley Leonard, also very capable runner. We'll see what he can do as a passer. Getting to him early and often is probably going to bode well for this team. If they're going to win a national championship, getting in Riley Leonard's head is probably a good way to make that happen. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, Ohio State knows what they have offensively, but they are facing a really good unit in Notre Dame's defense. Jack Kaiser's an intelligent leader who is very underrated as a linebacker. He is someone that's going to be in position, get his guys in position, so it's on Chip Kelly to find ways to potentially confuse him and make sure that his team is in a good position to make plays. He has plenty of playmakers, and if you can do some misdirection, 10 different motions and whatnot to get this Notre Dame defense confused, that's going to bode well for them. Xavier Watts is probably the biggest player to keep an eye on if you're Will Howard, if you're Chip Kelly. He is someone that can turn momentum in Notre Dame's favor. If you're not careful where you throw the football, he knows how to get the ball back to his offense. He's a ball hawk. He's proven time and time again that he knows how to create turnovers. If he can do that, Notre Dame is going to be in business. So Will Howard has to take care of the football. He has to make sure he's smart with where he's throwing it, but also you're throwing probably to Jeremiah Smith, so it's probably not a bad decision. You just have to make sure you're not just throwing it up for grabs too much and hoping for the best, which I don't think is going to happen. But Xavier Watts is definitely someone that you have to keep an eye on. Howard Cross III has been a really good addition for this team in the playoff, coming back from an injury. You lose Riley Mills. He is someone, that defensive line is a nasty group. They are a group that is not going to give up, and they're going to be very difficult to block. For Ohio State, I mean, we could go through this entire roster and talk about how excited we are about this team, and Jack Sawyer is leading the way. This is a guy who bleeds, scarlet and gray. He is someone that is going to be a big-time player, and he's done that so far. Ever since the Michigan game, he has played lights out. The return is obviously what everyone's talking about, but he's been disruptive. He's had QB hurries, tackles for loss, sacks, forced fumbles. He is someone that is turning it up a notch at the right time. He is playing his best football at the right time. Same with JT Tuimoloau. I think that we kind of were waiting for him to kind of step up in a big way. A few years ago we saw his performance against Penn State, and we've been waiting for him to kind of take that step to get back there. He's doing that. Jack Sawyer's doing that. Tyleik Williams and Ty Hamilton are flying under the radar. They are incredible talent. They are a really good defensive line, and that's going to be really fun to watch against this Notre Dame offensive line. The offense has plenty of firepower too. We talked about Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins all year. Adding Judkins to this offense was one of the best decisions, one of the best additions by any team. Will Howard has been really good. That's a good addition as well. He has played really well in the playoff too. Getting Jeremiah Smith involved again is obviously going to be huge. But we saw Carnell Tate, Emeka Egbuka, G. Scott. We've seen guys step up. They're going to need that again. So this is going to be an offense that has their hands full with this Notre Dame defense, especially with the injuries they've had on the offensive line. But again, this offensive line has stepped up and risen to the occasion. For as much adversity as Notre Dame's faced, Ohio State's faced just as much, and they have fought through all of this as well. They fought through injuries on the offensive line, and they're going to find a way to win football games. We've seen that so far. We're going to see that again, and if they do that, they're going to win a national championship.